Hey everyone, Hanny here from SidePro. Let's talk today about packages, specifically packages that your apps depend on, like custom libraries and programs and binaries. Let's say I've got an application that I'm developing. My app is a video converter for mobile devices. It takes a video that a user uploads and processes it into a mobile-friendly format, then spits it back out for the user to download. Pretty simple. In order to do the video processing, my app depends on the wonderful FFmpeg video utility, the Swiss Army knife of video processing. I've got the app functional and working on my local system, and now I want to get it to the cloud, in this case, SidePro. The process is usually as simple as running SidePro push. But if I tried this, my app would fail to run because FFmpeg is not installed. See, SidePro makes use of build packs, which are awesome, by the way. Build packs are designed to take your application, analyze its code base, and figure out how to build your app. Then it will bundle it up into a container for deployment. For the most part, build packs can figure out what your app needs to build it and deploy it. However, there are some limits. If your app needs custom packages like FFmpeg, they won't be included. So how do we solve this problem? We need some mechanism to install custom packages alongside our apps. This is where we introduce a new feature called AppFile with a capital A. AppFiles are really simple. It's a plain text file where you'd list any custom packages you wish to install during the build process. Build packs are Ubuntu Linux based, so any package available to Ubuntu can be listed. And it does so in a secure way. You see, installing packages typically require root or privileged access. One of the great features of build packs is the way they approach security. The entire build process is done without root privileges. The AppFile feature is designed to work within these constraints and properly install packages without root. In this example, you'd simply include FFmpeg in an app file, and this would sit in the root of your source code. Then when you run SidePro push, the build pack will detect this file and install FFmpeg as part of the build process, and bundle it all up as a deployable container. The container will then be deployed to the SidePro cloud, and finally booting up the app, at this point completing the cycle and allowing the app to function. So let me walk you through how this all works. If I come to my terminal, I have this Python application called app.py. It's a Flask application, pretty straightforward. It stores all the user uploads in a directory called temp uploads and then processes them into a directory called temp processed. It makes the directories if they are missing. It then presents a very simple form for the user to submit their video and submit the action to a URL called /process. And then the /process function is also pretty simple. It secures the file name to make sure that there's no malicious characters in there, adds it to the upload folder, and then constructs the processed file name. Now, this is where it does all its magic. It takes the input, specifies the output, and then specifies the codec to use. In this case, it's X264, which is a fairly open standard, re-encodes the audio into AAC, scales the video to 720p, and adjusts the video and audio bit rates to be suitable for mobile. And then finally, sends the file back to the user to download. Like any Python application, it will have a requirements.txt file, which basically just lists Flask and the Python FFmpeg library. It also needs an app file, and in this case, simply just has FFmpeg listed. It needs a proc file, which basically tells the platform how to boot the application. You may have noticed that at the end of the file, I'm actually running it in debug mode. This is fine for testing, but in a real production environment, you probably want to use a proper web server like gUnicorn. Lastly, I need to set some environment variables. During testing, I encountered some issues with some audio libraries that FFmpeg needed. Turns out that the Pulse audio library is in a non-standard location. I have no idea why, but to get it to work, I needed to append to the LD library path environment variable with this path to the Pulse audio directory. Not ideal, but it works. Okay, so now I'm ready to deploy this application. I need to run SidePro push. Let me clear my screen. Firstly, I need to specify this flag called the beta chart. I talked about this in another video, but essentially this flag allows me to push my application without having to worry about the port that the app is running on. Eventually, the beta chart will become the standard, and I don't have to specify this flag. But until then, I need to. So, SidePro push -- beta, app.chart. I also need to specify the builder image. The app file feature is currently only available in the Paketo Full builder. I'll explain the differences between the various builders in another video, and in the future we plan on unifying all these builders into one so we don't have to specify it further. Lastly, because I'm doing some heavy video processing, I need to give this app a little bit more horsepower. So I'm going to give it 4 CPUs and 1 GB of memory. We're also working on a feature to automatically scale applications based on their usage. So in the future, I wouldn't even need to specify these flags. Now let's run the command. So you can see here, it has detected my environment variable file, and it's asking me if I want to include its contents, and I do. So I'm going to select yes. Okay, now let's deploy the application, and I can open it up in my browser. And there we have it. There's the app. So let's test this out. I have this video released by NASA of the Juno probe dipping down into Jupiter from its orbit. A neat video, but it's a little too big for mobile. So I'm going to click upload, and now I can actually monitor the progress by running SidePro app logs, videoconf-f for follow. Let me clear my screen. And I can see it get to work. First, it'll need to upload the video. And now you can see it's actually doing the conversion. Already, I can see that there are some improvements for this application. First of all, giving users feedback about what is going on. Secondly, not doing this synchronously, but instead utilizing a worker queue model to do it asynchronously. But that's for another video. Okay, we can see that it's completed now. If I exit out of here, this is the downloaded file. You can see here that it's 19 megabytes versus the original, which is about 49 megabytes. So about a 60% savings. Additionally, I can inspect the file, and I can see that the new format is 720p versus the original, which is 1080p. You notice also a difference in the bitrate. The bitrate for the new process video is about 735 kilobits, while the original one is about 2 megabytes. So a big savings. So that's a walkthrough of how to use the app file feature. Let me know what you think. And if you have any changes to suggest, let me know. We're always eager for user feedback. Thanks for watching. Until next time.